Things always go wrong in the weaving process. I don't know a weaver who hasn't cried over the work. At first, it was a real barrier. Sometimes I would leave things that I knew weren't right because I was worried about making it worse. If things don't work out, I'm not afraid now to say, scrap this, start again. I guess I've always been interested in weaving since I was a child. I think it was my grandmother's sari that I had an absolute fascination for. It was called a jamdani sari, and it was cotton. It wasn't a silk one, it wasn't glamorous, it didn't have the gold thread. It was her sort of daily wear. And what I loved about this sari is the fact that it was so functional and yet so beautiful, but at the same time really practical. And then I ended up doing an English degree and going completely the other way when I arrived in England. There are these barriers for certainly that first generation of immigrants who arrived in the 70s. We didn't come all the way here for you to become a weaver like they are in our country. At the age of 40, after having my third child, I thought, no, I want to do this properly. So I did a 3-year degree. Graduated with the first, received a Clothworkers Award, and it kind of gave me the confidence to know, yeah, I can do this as a career. The thing about weaving is that there are millions of techniques. For me, I knew that I wanted to learn this jamdani technique. Unfortunately, it's a closed shop. They don't train people apart from their own children or family members. I ended up in the final year of my degree somehow managing to get to visit them, getting to know them, and it's a relationship you build up. Over the course of a year, they finally agreed to let me learn. For me, it was about how I could make it my own unique thing, but at the same time respect that heritage and the heritage of that technique. I personally feel uncomfortable when people try to classify me or categorize me. People pick up on the fact that I use really bright colours and sort of immediately connect it to my Indian history. Maybe I use colour because I like colour. You have to constantly question yourself. Am I being authentic? Am I trying to manipulate other people's romantic ideas of the Orient? I spent the first 15 years of my life rejecting my heritage, as most immigrant children in the UK do. It became really important when I realised that I'd not spoken Bengali in 10 years and I couldn't communicate with my grandmother without an accent. I just listened to an interview with Edward Said, a Christian Palestinian and professor of colonial studies at Columbia University. Somebody asked him, do you feel torn between your two cultures? And he just said, no, it's a conversation. That really stays with me in everything I do, that it isn't about division. It's about having that interaction between your two selves. My name is Majeda Clarke, and I'm a weaver.